Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Sarthyam
Sarthyam
Arjunasya Adau
Arjunasya Dau
Kurvam Gitamritam Dadau
Kurvam Gitamritam Dadau
Lokatra Upakarya
Lokatra Upakarya
Tasmai Krishnatmane Namaha.
Tasmai Krishnatmane Namaha.
Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai.
Jai.
1.28. So what was the gist of 1.28? If someone can explain me quickly.
So I'm just trying to open it.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Randhir.
So basically, Arjun, after seeing his close relatives and friends ready to kill him and preparing for war, he felt he felt how do I say that English word? Like compassion, because he knew that they are all going to die. So he was kind of bewildered as well, seeing all of them preparing to kill each other.
What is the significance of 1.28? What's the important aspects in that verse? So the first word, yeah, who's that?
Like his mouth was drying and his body was kind of shaking.
Okay. But what were the result from? So what did happen before?
He saw them.
Yeah. So drishtve mam. So if you see the word in 1.28, the word is drishtevam. Drishtve mam. Drishtve mam means after seeing. Whom? Swajanam. So Swajanam means his own kinsman. So when he sees that, with what? Yuyutsam. All in a fighting spirit. Have you heard this word before? Yuyutsam? Yes. Where did you hear this word before in Bhagavad Gita?
1.1.
Very nice, Rishi. So what was the verse? 1.1?
Yuyutsavaha was the word.
Right. What does Yuyutsava means? Yuyutsam. Yuyutsava.
Desire to fight.
Correct. In the fighting spirit. So that is, so what did he see? That his relatives are in the fighting spirit. Drishtvevam Swajanam Krishna. And he is addressing Krishna as Krishna. So this is the first time Krishna word is used in Bhagavad Gita. Normally, if Krishna is speaking, it would be Bhagwan Uvacha or other words. Previous word was Rishikesha. Rishikesha, Gudakesha. This time, in 1.28, first time you'll notice that the word Krishna. Krishna. So the actual pronunciation is, I'll show you. Everybody here knows how to read Devanagari.
Yes.
So Devanagari does not mean Hindi. Yeah? So if you think Devanagari is Hindi, you're wrong. Devanagari is a script. So in Devanagari, you can write multiple languages. You can write Hindi, you can write Marathi, you can write Sanskrit. So Devanagari is the script. Okay. So I'll share my screen with you. So I would like everyone to read this, what I've highlighted one by one. starting with Kalpesh.
Arjuna Uvacha.
No, 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 no. I've highlighted a word.
Oh,
Please
sorry.
read that.
Krishna.
Okay, next. Who's next? There is it? Sorry, I can't see you. Next one.
Sushma.
Sushma. Yes, Sushma. Can you read
Krishna.
this? Krishna. Yes. Next. Randhir.
Krishna.
Yes. Rishi.
Krishna.
We have two more. I can't see KK. Three Ks. One is Kalpesh. Two other Ks are. One is Kamakshi, I believe.
Yes,
Yeah.
Babuji.
Yes. So Kamakshi, can you read that what I've highlighted?
Ji Prabhuji, it's Krishna.
Good. And the last K, who's the last K?
Karan Prabhuji.
Hi, Karan. Hare Krishna.
And it's
Okay.
Krishna.
Krishna. Very good. So all of you have pronounced it correctly. So when we write it in English, it's Krishna. So everybody pronounces it as Krishna. But it is Krishna. It is not Krishna. When you say Krishna, it becomes a female. Krishna is male. Krishna is female. Krishna means who is the friend of Krishna. Is Krishna. And who was the friend of Krishna in Mahabharata?
Arjun.
Sudama.
Lady friend.
Radha.
Radha.
Radha was in Mahabharata. Very good.
Oh, sorry. Draupadi.
Very nice. So she was Sakha. They were friends to each other. Okay. So that's why Draupadi is also addressed as Krishna. Okay. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. So it is Krishna. And how do we pronounce? I'll highlight now. How do we pronounce this?
Arjun.
Arjun.
Randhir,
Arjun.
Arjun.
Rishi,
Ar-
yeah,
Arjuna.
Arjun. So it is not Arjuna, it is Arjun. Okay, just so that the Westerners can pronounce it correctly. That's why it is written like that. Arjuna. So if a Westerner says Arjuna, that's fine. But we should say Arjun. Krishna. Arjun. Okay. All right. So what does the verse say? Krishna. So first time, Yuyutsam, Samupasthitam. So they say, he's saying that they are all desiring to fight. They're all present here, but they're desiring to fight. That's what he sees. And next is, Sidanti mama gatrani mukham cha parishusyati. What does that mean? That Sidamti. Yeah? I'm quivering. What is quivering? My limbs of the body are quivering. And the mouth is drying up. So what is happening with him? Whatever he's seeing there, his relatives who are in the spirit to fight, that is making those emotions. He's generating some emotions after looking at them, after looking at the relatives who want to fight with him. And those emotions are creating some perceptions. How can I fight with my relatives? And that is not acceptable to him. Those emotions are generating some perception, and that perception it's shaping his emotions.
Prabhuji,
Yeah.
could those emotions be called remorse? That he's being forced to fight or seeing those?
Sorry, can you say that again, please?
Could those emotions be classified as remorse?
Not remorse. Basically, he's not able to accept that they are in that spirit.
Okay. Thank you.
Have you ever anyone come across a situation where his throat starts drying up, mouth starts drying up?
When we
Um,
are in
Yeah,
fear
yes.
or run so fast and suddenly we stop it. So, but
Okay.
not in the case of like what has been described in the chapter, like in
Uh,
real sense.
for example, this happened during exam when 5 minutes are left and 20 questions are left.
Yeah, very
You feel
nice
that way.
example. Yes, Rishi, yes. I mean the situation which you are not able to handle, right?
Prabhuji, if you are being forced to choose between the lesser of two evils, let's assume there is a situation which you don't have much of a control over, yet you don't have a choice but to act in it.
Say for example, you've been in the office and you're sacked at that time.
Or you're sacking someone.
No, that is another one. But if you're sacked, straight away you will have that feeling. I've heard from people, even if they are not sacked, even when there is, if your boss doesn't look at you, he looks at you in a very weird way, and there is a very bad meeting, and you have the fear of being sacked, losing the job. The mouth starts drying up. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yes, I have experienced it. Suppose someone comes and tells you you have, your performance not good, you're going to get an HR warning, and that will go towards, disciplinary action. Straight away, you lose the water from your mouth.
But yeah, true, Prabhuji. But when they talk about the redundancy package, your mouth becomes watery.
Not really. Not with all the cases. Some people may be happy. Some people may be not. Because some people really want to work, right? Yeah.
But
So
yeah.
you may be right that the feelings can change, but that feeling is there. That distress is there. Okay, there may be cushions later. The time is anyway the healer. You may get something or the other. You may get another job and you will be satisfied straight away. You may get a better job, or you may get a redundancy package, as Kalpesh said. But at that point, you will have that feeling because that situation you have never handled it before, and that is something devastating. You're very much overwhelmed by that situation. Yes, that is the situation of Arjun. Yuyutsam. So physical effects, they happen, effects of emotions after this new perception, because he has never seen those relatives. He has to fight against them. So Arjun had this desire. That's why he asked Krishna to take him to the center. He wanted to see, what he wanted to see? He wanted to see the relative, wanted to see everything. So when we want to see everything, what is that called? We discussed 4 different ways of acquiring knowledge, right?
Yes.
Or what was that, Randir?
Sight,
Yeah,
knowledge, sight, reading, assumption, and
yeah,
thought.
very nice. So in Sanskrit, if someone would like to translate,
Pratyaksh,
yes, correct,
Praman,
very correct.
Anuman, and
Yeah,
And Shabda.
yeah. Pratyaksha, Shabda, Anuman, and Vichar.
Vichar.
Which are. Mhm.
So when we say Arjun wanted to see everyone, what did he wanted to see? What did he wanted to do in terms of that?
Pratyaksha.
Pratyaksha. So he wanted to see Pratyaksha. Yes, but when there is over reliance on Pratyaksha, when you completely rely on the Pratyaksha only seeing is believing. If that is the case, we are into illusion. He is
Anuman.
into illusion. He is in illusion. Yeah, we do Anuman later, but when we only depend on seeing without Shabda, without thought, what happens is we are in illusion, unduly affected by emotions, a situation we wouldn't want to be. So, what we see with our eyes, we have to connect it with the Shabda. No matter, yes, correct, I'm in that situation. But then, what knowledge do I have? What research do I have? What have I heard? So that is Shabda. What have I read? What have I understood? Yeah, sometimes there is a situation that something comes upon you, you are being, you know, accused of something which you haven't done. And just because you do not know the legalities of that, because you do not know the Shabda, that is, you do not have the enough research, you do not have enough knowledge, you will be completely emotional about it. And you will be feeling the stress. As soon as you get the Shabda behind it, you get no, you are not to be accused because you're you have done everything under the law, everything legal, no problem, and you're relaxed. Yes? So Pratyaksha has to be what? What did I say? Pratyaksha has to be connected with Shabda. So if you connect what you see with the scriptures, with the Shabda, then you learn from that perception. Perception has to be subordinated with Shabda. It has to be connected with Shabda. Whatever you think after seeing something, after looking at something, with Pratyaksha, it has to be connected with Shabda. Because the Shabda or the Shastra will take out our illusion. And that is what Bhagavad Gita is all about. Now Krishna will intervene and he will speak. So that Shabda will take out Arjun from illusion. Okay. But the good thing about Arjun is that he does not just get settled with what he sees. What he does is next, afterwards, he will inquire. He will consult to Krishna. So when we find that there are sensory perceptions which can be misleading, we have to consult. We have to consult. Now, what you should be consulting? There are three channels which you should be consulting with. First channel is your guru, your spiritual master. But that takes time. It's hard to find a spiritual master in this world because we have to come to a certain consciousness. Only then we can find a guru, because most of the gurus generally in this material world have their own agenda. So it's hard to find a real guru. Number one is guru. Number two is sadhu. Again, very difficult to find a sadhu. Very difficult to find a sadhu. Somebody would be portraying as a sadhu, maybe dressing up like a sadhu, but he may not be a sadhu. So to identify a sadhu also, there is certain level of consciousness which is required. So what is the third one? Third one is Shastra. So that is the only thing available we have rightly in front of us. So we have to read the scriptures. Yes. So Shankaracharya says, so what do we read? We read the Vedic scriptures. Shankaracharya also said that all these Vedas, you know, all these Vedas and scriptures, they are considered as like a cow. And what is the essence of a cow? The essence of cow is its milk. Similarly, the essence of all the Vedic scriptures, all the Vedas, is Bhagavad Gita. So we are on the right step of reading Bhagavad Gita in order to understand the Shabda. So that whenever we are in a situation which irritates us, just like what Arjun is going through at the moment, a situation where our emotions may be overwhelmed, just with the pratyaksha Shabda from Bhagavad Gita will help. Okay, so this is 1.28. Understand? Yeah. All right. So we'll read 1.29 now. I'll share my screen with you. Please repeat after me. Vepatush
Vipatush
cha
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 sharire me
Sharire
Sharira
Sharire
mein
roma harshas
Roma
Roma
Romaharshascha
Harshascha
cha jayate
Cha
Jayate
kandivam
Gandivam
Gandivam
saramsate.
Saramsate
Saramsate
Sorry. It is sramsate
Shramsate
Diva Shramsate
hastat
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 tvakchaiva
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 paridhahyate
Parihatyate
Paridhahyate
vepatushcha sharire me
Vepatushya
Vipatushya
Vipashya
Sharire
Sarire
Sharire
mein
Me
roma harshascha jayate
Roma Harshascha Jayate
Romaharshascha
Jayate
gandivam sravashyate
Gandivam
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 Sravasate
Shastate
Shramaste
hastat tvakchaiva paridhyate
Hasta
Hastat
Hastat
Hastastvakchaiva
Tvakchaiva
Tvakchaiva
Paridhyate
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 vepatushcha sharire me
Vipashya
Vipatushya
Sarire
Sharire
Me
Me
roma harshascha jayate
Romaharshasya
Romaharshascha
Jayate
Jayate
gandivam shramasate hastat
Gandivam
Gandivam
Shramasata
Shramastate
Hasat
Hastat
tvakchaiva paridhyate
Tvakchaiva
Tvakchaiva
Paridhasyate
Parihartate
vepatushcha sharire me
Vipashya
Vipatushya
Sarire Me
Sharire
roma harshascha jayate
Romaharshasya
Romaharshascha
Jayate
Jayate
gandivam shramasate hastat
Gandiva
Gandivam
Shramasata Hasat
Hastat
tvakchaiva paridhyate
Tvakchaiva
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 Paridhasyate
Parihartate
someone please read the translation.
My whole body is trembling. My hair is standing on end. My bow Gandiv is slipping from my hand, and my skin is burning.
So I'll read the purport. It is very small. There are two kinds of trembling of the body. Is everyone on that page? On that page of Bhagavad Gita 1.29? Can every
Yes.
Yes.
can you see the purport?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. So there are two kinds of trembling of the body. and two kinds of standings of the hair on end. Such phenomena occur either in great spiritual ecstasy or out of great fear under material conditions. There is no fear in transcendental realization. Arjun's symptoms in this situation are out of material fear, namely loss of life. This is evident from other symptoms also. He became so impatient that his famous bow, Gandeva, was slipping from his hands. And because his heart was burning within him, he was feeling a burning sensation of the skin. All these are due to a material conception of life. Okay, so there are two types, basically two instances where you can see the hair of your body standing up, basically goosebumps as we call it, right? Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you get goosebumps when you hear a very nice, very, what you call highly, concentrated with, wonderful music, highly concentrated song with emotions, and you know, uh, your hair you start getting goosebumps. There are emotional songs, there are emotions. Sometimes your goosebumps starts coming up. you know you're happy and your goosebumps start. So many emotions, you know you feel that. But there are certain times when these goosebumps also come up when you are in fear, and that is not that great feeling. Has anyone experienced this?
Generally, like with humans, when we, more excited, or by watching any horror movies, or
Very
in
nice.
in cold, when we feel, our body is shivering.
Yes, very nice, very nice, Sushma. Yes, when we watch certain kind of movies, you feel that kind of a thing, and they create, generally you they create that thrill, that horror, so that you experience that fear. People pay for it. People pay to experience that fear. Yeah, people actually like that, because generally if you see, life is too boring. There's nothing to do. Yeah. What do you do apart? You just go to work. Apart from that, what do? We do some sports, this exercise, and again we sit down. There's nothing. So people want that excitement. That's the reason people watch TV. And in TV they want to watch something so that it thrills them, makes them laugh, makes them excited. These are the things which happen. But Arjun, out of fear, natural fear, not with the stimulated. Basically, what we do is it's called a stimulating effect. So basically, all the media is there to create that stimulating effect so that you get hooked onto it. Because that's what we want. We don't want to just sit idle and do nothing. So when we get that stimulating effect, we enjoy it. But here there is no enjoyment which Arjun is facing. Arjun is facing a real time fear. And what is that fear? Fear of losing his own relatives, killing them. That kind of fear he has. But what is said in the end is this kind of fear and emotions do appear in you. These are the consequences of too much attachment to material life. The material conception of life. So what is a material conception of life? Can anyone explain?
Maybe Prabhuji, seeing life attached or completely a culmination of the material things around us and the people and the possessions. That perception of seeing life like that this is what life is.
Okay, good. Yes. Just seeing that what people have,
Yeah.
people's possessions and their fame, their body looks.
Yeah,
Just,
everything, relations and attachments.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Very good. Yeah.
Identifying with the material energy.
Identifying with the material. How do you identify with the material energy, Rishi?
I identify myself with my body,
With your body.
with yeah. Again, like you mentioned, how I look, those kind of things are part of it.
Yeah.
If I get hurt physically, then I mean, I'm only seeing this lifetime, or my life in a very
Yeah.
limited scope in this world, in this setting.
Mm,
So
mm,
that is basically identifying with the material body, not with the soul.
mm, Very nice. Yeah. Anyone else?
Prabhuji 50 tola.
Very nice. Yeah. Just going on the material, what you have, you know, identifying yourself with what you have. I got a Mercedes. I got, I, I've heard people saying, oh, I always get the latest model of BMW. I always have that. The first one which lands here in this country, I'm the one of the top 10 to get the you know first release of the BMW or the Mercedes. So they relate themselves basically with their material possession. This is what I am. Like I remember with my last organization, there were two conversation I was hearing. So one person asking him, "How's that guy doing?" So his reply was, "Oh, he just bought a Mercedes. He's going around in a Mercedes." This is how you identify that person. That means he's doing well. That is the understanding. Yeah, that if you have certain positions, you're doing well.
But Prabhuji,
Yeah.
in the last line, or was it this one verse, he's talking about Gandeva falling off his hands,
Hmm.
right? Doesn't that actually imply that he's got this? He's got this saying that it's a mighty bow. I happen to hold that. So if that can actually fall out of my hands, isn't he construing that as material too?
Yeah, yeah. We'll come to that. We'll understand that very analytically. It's a very right point, Randir. But this is not the reason why his hand is slipping off the Gandeva. Basically, yeah, we'll do the material concept first. What is material concept of life? And we'll come to this point. It's a very good point. Yes. So he is in the material conception at the moment, and that's the reason the bow is slipping out of his hand. But he's not thinking that this bow is material. It's not that. It is something else.
So even when he's telling Krishna, he's saying is take me between them, between the armies, so that way I can see who's ready.
Yes.
Isn't that sort of ego he's here to say is, well, I want to see it. It's his,
Yeah.
you know,
He wants to see who wants to fight him. Yes. Not ego per se. It would be more of that, again,
who
connecting
dares
himself.
challenge me,
Yeah. Who's challenging me? Who is there to
right?
fight with me? Yeah. Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. Yeah. 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 Who are the ones who wants to fight me? Yeah, again, it's again material concept that I'm
Yes.
a kshatriya. Basically, I want to see, let me see who's wanting to fight me. Let me analyze that in the material concept completely based on that.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. Yes. So what is material concept when we say material concept of life, apart from what Kamakshi and Rishi has said?
Prabhuji,
Yep.
Yeah.
look, I mean, this is my personal view. Like having a Mercedes or BMW or all these material things is not a problem, but I feel that we should not be attached to that.
How do you not get attached to that?
Just not
Kalpesh,
be
don't take
attached.
it for servicing.
Yeah, how do you not get attached to it? You're right. You're right that what we possess, we should not be attached to it. We should have it, use it. That's okay. Bhagwan ne diya hai. It's good.
हाँ exactly, भगवान का ही
We
प्रसाद
should
है ये
use
सब.
it. But
Yeah.
how do you not get attached to it? So how do you not? I mean, practically, how would you not get attached to is that if you
Like,
get, say, for example, you don't have a Mercedes, you have a Toyota, you're happy with it.
I have a Mercedes now, right? I've been driving it for like 15 years now. Okay, and uh, I'm thinking of selling my car honestly because it's too big for me and I'm spending too much money on it. And now I started to feel it's not worth it. And I'm thinking कि कौन सा लूं, so I don't have to buy a Mercedes or या फिर उसके ऊपर वाला brand लेने की जरूरत नहीं है मुझे. I can just simply buy a hybrid car or an
Okay.
electric car.
So that is
I'm not
okay.
attached to it.
Yeah, no, no, that is okay. I understand that. But why do you don't want to buy, and why would you buy? That is the question. If you want to buy the same car, same brand. Okay. So let me, you know, give you a brief on how. Yes, Kshitij, you wanted to say something?
I would like to say our famous Gaur Gopal Das point here, which we discussed last time about requirements of the jiva and the desires based on which he comes to. So Gaur Gopal Das says, you drive a Bentley or you drive a Toyota or you drive a Suzuki, the road remains the same. You go by business class, you go by economy class, you go in A380, the destination remains the same. So, so these examples basically call out that it is really important to understand what your destination is, what exactly your purpose is, and what are the needs you need to fulfill for meeting that purpose.
Very nice. Yeah.
And if we say how to detach, it's a really interesting part. Where the mantra concept, I personally feel the mantra concept helps to ensure we detach and um, surrender all our activities or karma to the Lord. Basically, the 15th chapter has a verse, Prabhuji, Ye tu sarvani karmani mai sannasya matparaham. So I actually read that chapter. I liked it a lot. So basically, any activity we do or anything we buy, should be ensuring that we are just sticking to what our requirement is and just fulfilling that. But as Kalpesh mentioned, that Mercedes and whatever the brand by which we are calling out, but we need to know the road on which we are driving, it is the same, no matter you drive whatever
Very
type of
nice.
vehicle.
Yeah, it's a very nice thought. Yes,
Pra-
Kalpesh.
Uh,
Prabhuji,
Yeah.
sorry, Kalpesh, you're going on?
no, you go first from there.
Sorry. Prabhuji, that's a beautiful thought. But somewhere I read, I tend to read, the diverse viewpoint. They say, again, when you're talking about different cars and aspects in life, this says money can't get you happiness. Money can't get you happiness, but it's better to cry in a Mercedes than in a bus.
Hmm. The feeling is better, isn't it?
It's easier to cry.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Anyone else? Kalpesh, you
Uh,
wanted to say something?
uh, Actually, this is something happened, with me. One of my close relative, actually, मेरे mommy daddy. Uh, I was in India like few years ago. They came from some pravachan, and then they started giving me pravachan. Like ये अंबानी. I hope everybody is हिंदी आते हैं ना. हाँ ठीक है. ये अंबानी ना इतना टेंशन रहेगा, कैसे सोता रहेगा बेचारा. इतना इतना पैसा संभाल के रखने का उसको इतना सब है ना. कैसे कैसे इतना सोच के करता रहेगा. तो मैंने बोला यार तुम लोग को इतना अंबानी का टेंशन क्यों है. आप ये क्यों नहीं सोचते कि अंबानी कम से कम 10 लाख को एम्प्लॉयज कर रहा है और वो एक के फैमिली में ना कम से कम 4 लोग है. सो ही इज फीडिंग 40 लाख पीपल एवरी डे. उनका इलेक्ट्रिक बिल, स्कूल, सो व्हाई, I mean, why are we so against making money when it's actually also helping others with their livelihoods?
Okay. Anyone else would like to say something on material conception of life?
Yeah, one very important thing which I think we have missed out. Every jiva on this planet identifies himself with a profession. Yeah, may it be a butcher, may it be a doctor, maybe engineer, based on which he is basically fulfilling his livelihood. But when we talk about material concept, we by doing that profession activities, we are fulfilling our family needs and the needs to live on this planet. So, so that again is a material attachment to the profession and the activities we do, uh, which does not have the spiritual aspect of it. That's the important part I want to call out here. The professions of Pandit also, it not necessarily he's earning for his livelihood. He might not be 100% doing the thing as we say, he self-realized to really pray to the God and talk about the all the things that are going around. But each person doing his profession is more for his livelihood and fulfilling the family needs.
Mhm. Okay. Anyone else would like to speak on material concept? Aditi,
I,
would you
I,
like to say something?
I really want to, sorry, yeah, very quickly,
Oh,
Prabhuji. I really want people to, I really want some solid answer here, because I have seen so many devotees who do this puja and all these things all the time, going to temple and doing Hare Krishna japa and all. After a few years, they, by reading all these things, I think they misunderstand things and they become so complacent. They become actually irresponsible towards their families. And I have not seen one, two, three, four, five. I've seen many of them in this country. Many.
Aditi, would you like to add something?
no, no. I'm waiting for you to say.
Okay. So there are, if you look at the, just the fundamental way how we live is, there are two types of dharma normally, which are further bifurcated into three, which we perform in this world when we, as a jiva, when we come. So when we talk about the material conception of life, so there is certain dharma we perform with that material conception, with that, and that is called aparadharma. So aparadharma is we do in two ways. One is naimittika, which is we have to go to the office to earn money. We have to wake up in the morning and do our regular duties, eat, sleep, drink, you know, at regular intervals, work for the family, earn money for the family, earn money for your own self. Okay, these are the things we normally do as a naimittika dharma. It's our regulated activity. And after that, next one is the opacharikata. Now, opacharikata is when you have responsibilities towards your relatives. Now, that is, it has to be very simple. You have to understand it very simply. Don't get overwhelmed, which is why Arjun is very overwhelmed at the moment. Generally, we get overwhelmed with this opacharikata. Now, opacharikata means that you have to perform the duties towards your direct responsibilities. Who are the direct responsibilities? If you look at yourself, your direct mother and father, they are your direct responsibilities. Now, if they are able to sustain themselves with their food, clothing, and their medical services or their health, basically, as we call it, body, you know, they are able to sustain, then you don't have to worry about it. But if they have problems in there, then it is your responsibility to help them. Then comes your direct family, your subordinates, as we call subordinate family, where you have a wife and children. That is your responsibility. Apart from that, others are not your responsibility. That doesn't come under your dharma. So for everyone, that is the lineage they have to perform. That is the structure they have to support. Now, there may be cases where you have a younger brother, younger sister who needs support. Yes, they do. But until a certain point, once they are by their own, you don't need to support them. Unless they are physically handicapped and they cannot do anything by themselves. That is when you intervene and help. It's completely on their physical maintenance. Not monetary terms. Say, for example, if someone has a brother, younger brother, he is really well with his body, he has no problem with his health, but he doesn't earn. It is not your responsibility to feed that person. No. But I've seen people getting involved, getting overwhelmed in that opacharikata. You don't create opacharikata. People start creating their own opacharikata. There is no delegation in there in opacharikata. That's why there is overwhelming. Because they want to do that because there's nothing else to do. There is no other purpose. And that's when the that was paradharma, because that is aparadharma, and next comes is your paradharma. Paradharma is where you do the adhyatma. So there is naimittika, opacharikata, and adhyatma. Adhyatma is when you want to self-realize yourself. Now this is something where you spend time in understanding your own self-realizing, and also basically adhyatma means study of the soul, or adhyatma. Adhyayan means study and atma is your soul. So when you try to understand your own self and try to self-realize, that is your dharma towards your own self. Others is a responsibility. This one is also a responsibility. But this is the major responsibility, because adhyatma is something which is why you have a human life as per the scriptures. So when you are born as a human being, your ultimate goal is to self-realize and reach the supreme. Other things like naimittika and aupacarikata is just doing your duty in order to reach this goal of adhyatma. But the problem is that generally the jiva spends most of the time in naimittika. Of course, nowadays it's tough to maintain a livelihood. Yes, in naimittika, but he spends too much, living entity spends too much time in aupacarikata. Social gatherings, events, analyzing others, talking about others, thinking about others, looking at others. What are they doing? Why is it like that? Why they are like that? Why is the world like that? Why these events were like that? Why this person is like that? Why devotees are like that? Why these people are like that? Why they don't behave properly? This is all opacharikata. Everything is opacharikata. So to come out of that, you really need to have the goal of adhyatma. If we do not have the purpose of adhyatma, which is basically the spiritual understanding of this life, which is what Krishna will explain him, starting chapter 2. But the idea is that desire should be there to understand your own self, rather than just understanding relationships, events, people, gatherings, socializing. This is not just the life. So generally, people only perform the aparadharma. They do not perform the paradharma. I just wanted to confirm whether I'm saying it correctly. Apara means, and what is the difference between apara and para?
Apra is like own, Para is like others.
No. Apara means the lower or the material. Para means superior or spiritual. Para means pure. Apara means contaminated. Okay. So this material conception of life, what is material life? Material life or material, whatever you see, is actually is a perverted reflection of the spiritual life or spiritual world. Material world is nothing but a reflection, not just a reflection, but a perverted reflection of the material of the spiritual world. And to understand the spiritual is what the human life is for. That is our paradharma. Because we are too much entangled in the aparadharma, we do not even think about the paradharma. Did this answer or clear some concepts of what we discussed? All your points?
जी प्रभु जी.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Is it making sense?
So, Prabhuji, does that mean that if someone needs you, like if someone is on the road, you don't know him, उसकी
Yeah.
गाड़ी पंक्चर हो चुकी है, बंदा हट्टा कट्टा है, उसके पास सब टूल्स भी है ठीक करने के लिए, तो क्या उसको देख के हम ऐसे चले जाए कि यार ये वो तो खुद कर पाएगा, तो why should we
हाँ, ऑफ कोर्स. हाँ, हट्टा कट्टा है, टूल्स भी हैं, गाड़ी पंक्चर है और स्पेयर स्टेपनी भी है. हाँ, तो ऑफ कोर्स तुम चले जाओगे ना, unless he asks for the help from you. If someone is asking that help, that he doesn't have certain things, and if you have it, yeah, that time you would help. Of course, you will drive through. Would you wait? Why would you wait? I'm asking everyone.
Prabhuji, usually it happens that when we see somebody in trouble or we see that they are they might be needing help, and we just out of empathy or compassion we just.
Yeah, I understand that. They might be needing help. But so they might be needing help or they really need help. That's the question. Okay, you can just hold on for a second to answer Kalpesh. You can ask them, do you need help? If he says yes, step down. If he says no, drive through. Is it okay?
Ji,
Is it a
Prabhuji.
good solution, Kalpesh? Would you like that?
I want to go one step beyond this. I mean, I gave a very simplistic example, but say if one of your friend is being emotionally attacked for a long time by a group of people, right? Because that person is kind of submissive type person. You are constantly helping them to survive with that group, and because that person cannot leave that group for now, so it requires a lot of energy to think and understand what that person is going through and what other people are trying to do to that person. So in that instance, like you spend like 2 hours a day sometimes talking to that person, understanding the problem and giving them some solutions. It's fully involved in it, right? So
Srila
what?
Prabhupada gave a very good answer to this one. Suppose if you see a man or a woman drowning in the river, what would you do? You'll go and help that person, right? Suppose you jump and go and only take the coat of the person and come out and say, I have saved the person. बचा लिया. Will that help?
No.
नहीं बचाया ना. उधर क्या बचाया? वो तो डूब रहा है. तो डूब गया. Correct? So when we think about that, think of that coat as the material body and think of the person as the soul. So if you only take out the coat of the person and come out, will you actually save him or save her? You have to save the whole entity, right? Whole package comes with the body and the soul also. And if we do not know how to uplift our soul, how can we help others?
But we can't wait to uplift our soul when we know we can help, at least in this instance.
Again, would you like to only help with the quote, or you want to help with the full package? My question to you.
Yeah, obviously full package.
Correct? So if
Yeah.
you want to help with the full package, you should know the full package yourself.
प्रभु जी वो पैकेज बनते बनते बाल सफेद हो जाएगा, तब तक थोड़ी रुकने का.
हाँ, तो अगर प्लेन में एग्जैक्टली वेट करना पड़ता है पहले ऑक्सीजन अपने मुंह पे लगाने के लिए. Until you are fine, you cannot help others. The problems of this world are so complicated that you will not understand where the problem starts, where the problem ends. That is a simple question. If the scientists ask you, everybody can get, really mad. What came first, the egg or the hen? Nobody can answer that. If the hen came first, then how did the egg came from? It's source पता ही नहीं पड़ेगा. You will never know where the source is. But you read Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells straight away. He's the father. He's a seed-giving father. So the seed came from Krishna. And that's how everything came. That's how everybody cultivated further into different species. So we have to go back to the Shastras in understanding where the source of the problem is. You cannot analyze the problem with your own physical body and mind. That's what Arjun is trying to do, right? He's trying to understand with pratyaksha. So what you see, yeah, and you perceive, what you get with that? Emotions. That's what Arjun is into. Emotional and physical are intimately related. So I'm talking about 1.29 verse now. When we have extreme emotions, we have physical reactions. Grief, horror, shock, physical effects. Most significant feature of the reaction here is a slipping of the Gandeva bow. So I'm coming to what Randhir was talking about. So slipping of the Gandeva bow for a warrior, an archer like Arjun, it is like, it is a part of his body. Not being a limb of the body, but it defines an archer. It defines Arjun. When you think about Arjun, what do you think? Dhanurdhar, right? A fighter with a bow in his hand. If the bow is not there, yeah, you'll say he may not be Arjun. A bow is an integral part of Arjun. Yeah. So why? Because it exhibits his excellence. Yeah? Bodily limbs. It's not bodily limbs directly, but it is his excellence which is shown. So nobody gives his bodily limbs. It's like that, Nobody gives his bodily limbs, or nobody gives his excellence. And Arjun had taken a vow that he will never give up his Gandeva. He will never, unless it is for some, unless there is a, Vishnu in front of him directly, or if it's a pure devotee who's in front of him, he will not raise the Gandeva against him. Otherwise, he will never give up his Gandeva. So on the 17th day of this war, Yudhishthir, Mahabharat war, Yudhishthir, he was defeated by Karna. Karna had defeated him very badly. So at the evening in the tent, when Arjun came to meet Yudhishthir, asking how is he, Yudhishthir was agitated. And when he was talking more to him, he actually chastised him that what's the use of this Gandiv bow when you cannot kill that Sutaputra. He was really agitated because he was defeated very badly. You should give up this Gandeva bow. He said, you throw it away from your body. And Arjun got so angry on this because he cannot imagine himself without the Gandeva. He got so angry that he actually took out the sword and wanted to attack Yudhishthir. Yeah? This happened, brothers, right? Brothers are fighting among each other. So this is how it happened. Just by hearing that he has to give up his Gandev from Yudhishthir. The brother whom he used to respect so much that he didn't utter a word when he gambled away everyone. Arjun was quiet at the time when Yudhishthir gambled him. But here he was wanting to fight him because he was so attached to Gandeva. Yeah. And then Krishna came in and settled everything, so that they don't fight too much, आगे वो उसको वो मांडिवली हो गया कल्पिश. So they did not fight. He settled them down. So with no external source could take Gandhiva away from Arjun, but the emotions internal. Yeah, he was so bad from inside.